TWIGA is a European Commission Horizon 2020 project that intends to provide currently unavailable geo-information on weather, water and climate for sub-Saharan Africa by enhancing satellite-based geodata with innovative in-situ sensors and to develop related information services that answer the needs of African stakeholders and the GEOS community.
In the last 4 years, we've just been implementing the TWIGA project in Narok, and I'm glad that we can tell a story from it.
Weather Forecast for Early Warning Service is a weather product on emergency that provides expected weather conditions related to heavy rains or flood risk in Narok County.
The TWIGA project in Narok was premised on the fact that Narok is quite vulnerable to extreme weather climate impacts, and particularly the issue of flooding and also heavy rainfall. There are also cases of heavy storms, also lightning, which of course sometimes leads to lightning strikes. And towards that, we developed an early warning system to provide the much required service to help in the preparedness and the response and the desirable actions to manage or mitigate the impacts. The entire TWIGA project is based on the provision of water, weather, and climate information that is not available, of course, integrated together with satellite information. We have largely depended on those particular sources of information. However, we have also been depending on low-cost sensor data that was actually provided for piloting for this particular project.
Early warning service implementation in Narok County started in 2019 with assessment of end-user needs through stakeholders' workshops and field surveys. By 2021, the KMD TWIGA project in Kenya had held 4 stakeholder workshops, 2 in Nairobi and 2 in Narok town.
The initial workshop was just to interrogate what would be the desirable products or quality or the specifications of the early warning service that they wanted. But the subsequent workshops after that have always been like follow-up feedback in terms of what do you think about the service in the last 3 months, in the last 6 months? Has it served you well? What do you want us to change or to improve on? And that kind of stuff is what we have been following up. With that information, we worked towards developing the weather research forecasting model, which we have been using for the last about 2 years or so to provide early warning weather and climate information to particularly farmers in Narok, but also other users from other sectors, because we have been disseminating this through a WhatsApp group, and we guess our users or stakeholders, for that matter, could number about 300. Most of the feedback from the users on the ground have been quite very, very encouraging, because most of them would say that it's really accurate from wherever they are. In my place, it's been raining the last 24 hours. And then when we go and verify that and compare with the early warning service or forecast product we gave, we find that, yeah, I think the stakeholder is telling the truth about the service we have provided.
In Narok County WhatsApp, tukiwa na MD wetu Peter Runanu na timu yake, huwa tunashirikiana kulete mvua kiasi imenyesha kwa kila sehemu katika Narok County. So imetuletea manufaa na hata wakulima wamepata faith na trust kwamba wakati fulani ikisemekana kuna mvua, wakulima wamejua hasa wakati gani ya kupanda na wakati gani ya kufanya shughuli zao za kilimo.
In terms of capacity building, the project conducted a 7-day training on EWS to increase capacity in KMD to provide continuous services to end users in Narok.
I was privileged to be one of the technical team who was freely trained to assemble, install, and maintain dysdrometers. Currently, we have 14 dysdrometers, of which 10 are well functioning, while 4 have minor issues which are being addressed. If you click on this one, which is in Lower Meriri, if you click there, you are able to see the last reading it made. The voltage was 4.0. The rainfall was nil. There was no rainfall. Rainfall intensity nil.
2 students have been sponsored to pursue their PhD and master's program focusing on the early warning service. The master's student, Mrs. Pascaline Chemayo, has conducted coursework and the project research proposal.
The master's actually was we're looking at the ground-based stations and the uptake by the users, because we realize that not only in Kenya but in Africa as a whole, there's an issue with the number of ground-based stations. The network is very sparse, and in that particular case, it affects the information that we get, that we're able to give out to the users.
The PhD student, Mr. Kizito Amua, obtained admission later in 2021 and has been conducting analysis of historical data to improve understanding of the rainfall and flood information in Narok.
My main area of research has been developing the early warning system, which actually depends on the numerical weather prediction model. So my work was to look at the data from the dysdrometers and then use this data in forecasting through what we call data assimilation and also verification of the same forecast.
As part of the TWIGA project, we also were very much in readiness to use global navigational satellite systems in partnership with our Italian partners, the Polimi University. And we have been in the testing phase where we are testing the 8 GNSS that we received. And we hope that by the time the tests are through, we'll be able to deploy and install them in 8 of our Kenyan counties. In terms of the capability of what we have currently, we are able to integrate the data, particularly when it comes to the collection, transmission, and also having it in the platform that has been developed. Because from the platform, now you can do whatever you want, like to process the data, you can do some basic analysis. You can later now even take that data and integrate it into the model and work with it.
After 4 years, the early warning service has been well accepted by end users in Narok. It has been said to be far better than previous services they accessed, and they have been able to make better decisions and minimize risks and losses.
And so we will continue with this service, but in terms of increasing the number of, users, because we don't want to just focus on agricultural, users, but we want to expand this across the broad spectrum of all the value chains.